Joshua, you're good to go. Feel free to unmute and begin whenever.
Brilliant, thank you. Hello, and thank you all so much for joining us in this 24-hour poetry marathon in solidarity with Palestine, with Lebanon, with Sudan, and all other nations experiencing the most extreme forms of violence, oppression, and injustice. Thank you to all the readers who have come in so far, and to everyone who has been organizing this incredible event behind the scenes. My name is Nashwa Nasruddin. I'm a writer and editor, translator of Arabic literature. I'm also the editor at the Poetry Translation Center, and we are honored to be hosting the first half of this UK hour. After that, I will be passing you on to Janani Ambikapathi from Modern Poetry and Translation, who will be your host for the second half. I also want to just quickly thank Paminar Press and Outspoken Press, who worked with us on bringing you these exceptional writers tonight. Many thanks to all the readers this evening, who we're ever grateful to. I'll just begin now by introducing all our first 5 readers, and then leave you to just sit with their poems. Atif al-Sha'ir is a Palestinian poet and a reader in Arabic studies at the University of Westminster. He grew up in Gaza and was educated at Birzeit University in Palestine and SOAS University in London. Kairani Baroka is a Minang Javanese writer, artist, and translator who was shortlisted in 2013 for the Asian Women of Achievement Award, and whose latest book, Amok, is published by Nine Arches Press. Mumtaza Mehri is a poet and researcher working across criticism, education, and radio. Her poetry collection, Bad Diaspora Poems, recently won the 2023 Forward Prize for Best First Collection and Sky Arts Award. Kit Fan is a writer of poetry, fiction, and non-fiction who was born and educated in Hong Kong and now lives in the UK. His third poetry collection, The Incloud Reader, was shortlisted for the T.S. Eliot Prize and the Forward Prize. Ali Al-Jamri is an inaugural Manchester multilingual city poet. He's a British Bahraini poet, translator, and the editor of Arab Lit Quarterly's Folk Issue and the anthology Between Two Islands. Before I leave you with these wonderful readers, I want to read a poem from the Arab Lit Quarterly magazine's Gaza-focused spring issue by Basman al-Dirawi, one of the brilliant Palestinian poets from Gaza, whose poems are widely available online. Basman is a physiotherapist and a graduate of Al-Azhar University in Gaza. Inspired by an interest in music, movies, and people with special needs, he contributes dozens of stories to the online platform We Are Not Numbers. In this poem, he writes about 2 of his best friends, Aisa and Oda, who were killed by Israeli airstrikes in 2023 and 2024. He also calls in the late poet Hiba Abu Nada, who was also killed by an Israeli airstrike on her home on October 20th, 2023. In the past year, the genocide has also claimed Basman's sister Iman, her husband, and their 4 children, who were left under the rubble for weeks. This is his poem, Has Oda Arrived, translated by Tala Latki. My friends will meet in heaven. I'll look up at the sky and ask Aisa, tell me, has Oda arrived? He jokes, haven't you heard his voice? Maybe I'll strike up a conversation, as always. What does heaven look like? Did you meet God? Maybe now they're working together in the Gaza that Hiba saw under construction in the sky, when they were down here before the war devoured our raw hearts, burning whatever particles were left of the city. They treat the martyrs who the missiles left in their final forms. They work up there in the new Gaza, in a hospital that's not threatened with destruction. Then they sing and they laugh and they joke. Hiba sits in a corner, writing a new poem. And they cry in secret for their little ones who remain orphans on earth, who know parents, but only in stories. And in the remains of photos, the ones not destroyed by the occupier. They ask God to protect them. In their hearts is a fire that won't be put out. They try to sleep, but cannot, although the night is quiet and there are no bombs. Thank you very much. I'll leave you with our brilliant poets now.
Is it my turn? Okay. Well, thank you so much. My name is Atif al-Sha'ir, and I just would like to begin by thanking everyone really for organizing this very moving event in solidarity with Palestine. with Palestine, and particularly Nashua, who invited me. Thank you so much for this. I'll begin by reading a poem by the martyr poet that Nashua has just mentioned, Hiba Abu Nada. Hiba Abu Nada was killed by an Israeli bomb in 23rd of October last year, 2023. She's a remarkable young lady. She's written she's written one major novel called Al-Oxygen Laysa Lil Mawta. Oxygen is not for the dead. And this particular poem that I will be reading is short. It was posted just a short while before her untimely death, unfortunately. So this is my translation of it. We are in the heights now, teachers free of their crowded classrooms, their voices no longer shouting to be heard, new families without pain or sadness, journalists taking pictures of heaven, writing about the eternal love. All of them are from Gaza. There is a new Gaza in heaven, without siege, taking shape now. The second poem I want to read, I just hope I can get out of here. You can still, I just want to go to get it online. It's a poem. Sorry. It seems that it might take. Can you hear me? It seems that it might take time for me to get it. But oh no, sorry. I'll try to be quick. Yeah. The second poem that I will read, I wrote it last year, a while before also the events of October 7th, although I have updated it a little bit, and it's called يجهزون لأعراسهم. It was published in العربي الجديد, the Arabic newspaper. من يموتون الآن في بلادي مع شمس تداعب وجوههم وآفاق تخذلهم، من يموتون برصاص إسرائيل ويموتون بوعود إسرائيل، يموتون في زحمة الطرقات ومن ثقل سماء بلا وزن، يموتون في بيوت بلا ضوء وفي مستشفيات بلا شفاء، يموتون يزورهم الموت أكثر من الشعر ويأكل الجوع أطفالهم، يموتون وهم يجهزون لأعراسهم تحت أسقف مهدمة وفوق أموات تحت الأنقاض، يموتون دون مرايا ويسلكون طرقا لا تخجل من ضيقها، من يموتون الآن من شباب بلادي بلا شك يخبئون في أجسادهم شرارات النار الأسطع. So the English translation of it, the poem is entitled They Prepare for Their Weddings. Those who die now from my country, with the sun on their faces and a horizon betraying them, those who die with the bullets of Israel and die with the promises of Israel, they die at the gathering of roads, and from the weightless burden of the sky they die, in houses bereft of light, in hospitals emptied of cures, they die. Death visits them more than poetry. Hunger eats their children, and they prepare for their weddings under collapsed roofs, over dead bodies under the rubble. They die without mirrors and walk on roads unashamed of their narrowness. Those who die now from the youth of my country, they are without a doubt concealing in their bodies the barest sparks of a fire. And I just would like to end by a poem by Farid Bitar, which is included in our anthology Out of Gaza, an anthology I put together with Alan Morrison. So this poem by Farid Bitar is called Unexplained Misery. The wars of Palestine are never ending, insisting to never leave any time. As the many years pass, as I get older than a stone, as the millions of olive trees uprooted, the wars keep coming back with vengeance. My nightmare keeps revisiting. I run away from it, seeking refuge in the woods, with the majestic lake greeting me camping and the fog lifting at sunrise. Gaza keeps erupting with bunker bombs. I keep screaming for the bombs to stop dropping. I keep praying for a miracle. I keep thinking this is a bad dream. And when I awake, everything from the previous day is just the same. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much. Atif, hello, my name is Kairani Baroka. I am an Indonesian woman with a chartreuse green background of a book cover that has Jawi, Baybayin, and Maori words on it. I'm wearing a purple shirt with green earrings that were made by Papuans, and I wore these earrings specifically because there is a genocide happening right now that my country, Indonesia, is waging against Papua that is linked to genocides in Palestine, in Sudan, in Congo. It is another resource genocide, as it were, as all these genocides are. Papua has the largest gold mine in the world. And when the West installed a capitalist dictatorship in Indonesia in the 1960s with a genocide that killed millions of people, they installed a dictatorship that was going to carry on with these policies. I'm going to read a poem entitled Prayer Directed at X from my book Amok, after the musician Serpent with Feet. Keep me tender in cupped hands, let dust turn back to felt, cuts beget blooming, arias from nail-bitten mouths. You can't take me anywhere, udah lama. Let us stay here buttering dreams in a genocidal neighborhood. Keep me tender in there, keep me sleepy warm. Freshly bathed as algos close in for coin, raucous rock of death could be any year. Don't ever tell them where I am, where you cup me quiet and teething again. Rub Kajaput oil on my miniature back, and when they ask what you have there, say you're praying. I'm going to read from a couple other people's texts now, and the first being excerpts from the essay Palestine is Disabled by Leelakshmi Pipsna Samarasinha. As a disabled person myself working in a very violent literary industry, this resonates deeply with, I think, all of us who've witnessed what has happened in our industry over the past year. I am not the first or last person to say this, but everyone in Palestine is disabled right now. Whether it's disabled as in brand new amputations after AI-targeted bombing blows up your house and your leg needs to be amputated without anesthetic by your dad, or disabled as in 360,000 cases. This essay was written 100 days only into the current war, of infectious disease from almost no water or sanitation. That's 1 in every 6 Palestinians in Gaza, and most likely an undercount. Or disabled as in a created starvation impacting all of the Palestinian population as of this writing, the worst hunger crisis on the globe. Starvation kills disabled people, sick people, children, and elders first. Starvation also creates disability through creating long-term effects of high rates of heart attack, stroke, and heart disease, as well as suicidal ideation. Disabled like heroic citizen photographer Motaz Aziza, posting about contemplating suicide because he says he literally cannot keep recording what is happening. or a million disabled, deaf, and neurodivergent people facing extreme challenges getting medicine and access equipment, navigating blown up roads in wheelchairs and with canes and walkers, trying to get into inaccessible shelters, not being able to access information because of a lack of captions, Wi-Fi, and interpreters, being autistic and trying to cope with complete sensory overwhelm and constant noise of bombing. I'm going to say it again for the people at the back. Disability justice has always been about Palestinian liberation. Disability justice was founded by a bunch of revolutionary disabled people, mostly BIPOC, who had been involved in radical movements against imperialism and racism for all their lives. We created disability justice out of our lived disabled experiences with war, occupation, and genocide. A free Palestine is a disability justice issue. Disability justice will not win without a free Palestine, where disabled people live in a land that is at peace. And I'm going to close with an excerpt from a short story entitled The Birth of the Spirit by Sarah Aljak, Sudanese writer. It was translated from Arabic by Yasmin Zodi. In brief, it's about a young woman who's captivated by a mysterious book about the history of the Nile as she searches for a disappeared friend. And it's an excerpt from Sarah Aljak's novel, The Mites. So this is an excerpt from that book. The calling. Listen. Where is this voice coming from? It is coming from the depths at the heart of this darkness. Where? I can't see the place you're pointing toward. It is there to the south. Look at the source of the sound. Follow the voice, do what it commands. Plunge into the heart of the spirit. You know him, he knows you well. Then leave him at the navel. You will forget him, he will forget you. Sail across Gaijun to the south. We bear no relation to you. Follow your intuition, the calling, the summoning, the inspiration. Go deeper into the south, through the waves of Gaijun. You will find weeds tangled with serpents and snakes, swamps where lethal golden frogs croak. The crocodiles of the river will meet you with open jaws. Do not fear, they're cleaning their teeth with the rays of the sun. They're ugly and forbidding, their backs scaly, their tails carrying the promise of death. Their teeth glint in the light of the sun that cleans them, arrows that pierce the heart of anyone who's a stranger to the swamps. And you're definitely a stranger. He walks for years, his nails are long, his hair unruly, his soul wilts, his body weakens, from pleasure to pain, from wealth to weariness. He continues on his way south, one wave handing him to the next. Who is he? Who will he be? Where did he come from? And how did he end up here? Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kit Fan. Thank you for inviting me to this momentous reading in the very dark times. I'm going to read two poems. The first poem is from my second collection called As Low as Possible. It was published in 2018. There is a poem in the book called Banksy in Gaza. I was inspired to write this poem knowing that the artist Banksy went to Gaza and painted a graffiti in an area. And this poem was written in the last decade during Israeli bombardments in Gaza. Banksy in Gaza. Has art a place in this ruined corner of Beit Lahaya, where children in oversized shoes bring water home in plastic bottles, running as if chased by shadows along the grey concrete wall greened by tough weeds on bone-dried sand. The traffic of their footprints written and overwritten all day like a game, except there is no fun in playing thirsty or filthy this February, or any month for that matter. While as they run, their shadows run on the wall among the 6 painted children flying sky high on a watchtower turned carnival swing, feet dancing in the open air like a blue cursive Arabic letters lapping on the forbidden shore. What is imaginary? The black paint like the flammable tar that colored the tower, the swing, the flying children fading in the heat of the sun, or the small shadows running back and forth for water, or the long wall of teeth and eyes and ears. How should we unimagine a thing once it's been imagined? My second poem is by the Palestinian poet Najwa Darwish, who was an amazing Palestinian poem. His poem was translated by Karim James Abdul Zayed, and the poem that I'm reading is titled to Abdul Amer Majaris, who is an Iraqi poet who died very young at the age of 38 in 2003. And this is a poem written by Najwa Darwish. To Abdul Amer Jaras. Today, I found your notebook in my washroom. It had dust on it, here in the home of your loyal friend. What, then, is the state of your words in the homes of opportunists? Those people you confronted as the sun confronts betrayal? Have you seen what the years have done to my loyalty? Your courage in our minds is a string of birds. The grave could never hold you. I'm as embarrassed by life as I am by death. I am embarrassed by how the grass on your grave doesn't know you. Come, let me share my embarrassment. What has time produced? What have the tyrants done with the earth? And this river of women dressed in black, where does it flow to? The pomegranate trees are blossoming in the gardens of Iraq. The children are playing in alleyways that are no longer there. And it's sad that the rivers run in rivers that are also no longer there. If only we had buried you. The workers are washing their faces with cold water. In the darkness and the dawn, while we go on believing, Lord, that suffering is your gift to us. One day we'll come to you meekly. Let us back, give us back the years of misery. Give us back even the lies we told ourselves. Your poems at dawn are broken trees. Your notebooks a bird flipping its wings in these shuttered rooms. So come, let me share the lack of air with you. The hope that slings off beyond the borders, never to return. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. I'm thankful for this space, for this much needed day of reading, reckoning, and recommitment. I've chosen to read a poem by Salma Khadr al-Jayusi, the renowned Palestinian poet, translator, anthologist, and trailblazing advocate who passed away last year. Years ago, I stumbled across two of her poems titled To and dedicated to Khartoum, possibly inspired by her time teaching in Sudan, though there's always room for mystery. There should always be room for mystery. I will read one of these poems now from a translation by Lina Jayusi, and it's titled Khartoum. Innocent when questioned, quick to take flight when afraid, magnet for the heart, approaching like a Nazarene lamb. You sleep. I do not tire. I do not turn away. I do not intrude. You run off, fleeing from injury. Stretch out, horizon. I am limbs that will not rest. You run off. My face, a gazelle that migrates. My body, a gazelle that dances. You run off. I run off. Sink into love, all presence, a tent that does not stay put. I hoist my home across the horizon, raise my signposts in the wind. You give home to the lost, a stranger beyond limit, intimate as the body's vein, a level field. We ascend toward you, and you do not weary. We descend upon you, and you are untouched, vast heart. I dove into your spaces to the point of drowning, and you are unaware. Your stars fold over me the memory of my love who died, my love who never dies. Memory stretches out across my vision. I sleep. It gives leaf in dream. I wake, a loved one's face across each door, your twilight, a searching eye. We watch how the houses light up with their folks, how friends arrive, bring life to corners, how the ceremonies begin. We see the houses settle down, their lanterns raised, their children roaming. Your night is mute, your sun fiercer than any I have known, gentle-eyed gazelle. Your breeze is hotter than drunken fits of grief, your full moon the most naked of moons. Your twilight a cavern. I sit at its threshold without moving, my gaze on the distance. Large black eyes cross my path. The thoroughbred beckons and the dark-browed rider. Nearby, chattering fountains overflow. I do not drink. Then we converse. We are without purpose. What do you want of me? What do I want? Maybe nothing. A time will come when I miss the ebony forest, for the scorching suns are a legend, the trickster morning, pure gold. Only now the eyes of the evening remain fixed on the porches. The valley of silence is ripped by a lover's call for help. One instant he lives, another he dies. Dusk remains a wall, 1,000 gates lost to their keys. Gazelle with gentle eyes. Thank you for listening. Hope these poems, along with the others we'll be hearing tonight, serve as tools, technologies, and signposts toward a future that belongs to us all, on a planet that belongs to us all. Thank you.
Ali, if you want to turn your video on and unmute, we're ready for your reading.
Apologies for that. I was going to read one of my own poems, so thank you for having me. But this morning I woke up and saw a friend from Lebanon, a translator, someone whose work I've admired for a long time, Huda Fakhreddin, who's Lebanese, posting images of their destroyed family home and the library, the parts of the library still standing in their family home in South Lebanon. And I think that's part of the experience as a writer as well, watching what's happening in Palestine is, and now Lebanon as well. You're constantly shifting your your worldview based on what is the latest tragedy that you're witnessing. And in keeping with that, I couldn't stick to my own poem and reading my own poem. And instead, I've chosen her translation, Huda Fakhruddin's translation of Ibrahim Nasrallah from the poet Palestinian, which was published just 2 months ago. And this poem is called In Love You Rise. Love won't cost you anything. You'll become finer and purer than water, higher than palm trees and clouds, more gracious than any sea you have seen, and more tender than the most radiant smile. You will disintegrate, disappear, and scatter away from yourself, and then you'll return as a wheat stalk. You'll memorize poems in a secret and grow endless wings. You'll be a garden in the morning, and the stars in the sky, and all the roadways. You'll be the stars in the sky, and all the roadways, a traveler's song, and the caravans, an absence that has cleared into all presence, a wolf that has become companion and kin. Love won't cost you anything. You'll long, like the wind, for sails. You'll outpace wishes to the dew. You'll follow your minstrel dreams to wherever your loved ones are. What's behind you, like the unknown, will race ahead of you. In love you rise, and in love you fall. Let it intoxicate you, or you it, until you regain what inside you was gracefully stomped out, like beginnings. Or you will turn into a spectre of longing on its thresholds, as you whisper, how beautiful. Because you are made from the grief of this land, from its earthquaking wounds. I tell you, love won't cost you anything. You'll run with its horses across the meadows. You'll dream of that sealed moment when you will dance, trailing the invader's army as they make their way to a waste heap. Thank you.
Thank you, Ali. Thank you so much for that beautiful reading. Thank you all. Thank you, Atif, Khairani, Kit, Mumtaza. I'm grateful to each and every one of you and to everyone who's tuned in to watch and support these solidarity efforts. I'll hand you over to Janani now, who'll introduce the next poets.
Thank you, Nashwa, and thank you to all the readers. Hi, everyone. I'm Janani Ambikapati, editor of Modern Poetry and Translation. Thank you for joining us at this solidarity reading for Palestine, Lebanon, Sudan, and oppressed people everywhere. I want to thank Poetry Translation Center, Pamana Press, Outspoken Press, Nashwa Nasruddin, and Ghazal Mossadegh for helping us put together this excellent hour of poetry from the UK. Thank you also to all the readers and to the Dan and Vince for the technical support. I will now introduce our readers. Aisha Far is a Parsi-English artist and writer from London. Al-Sadiq Al-Radi is one of the leading African poets writing in Arabic today. He grew up in Khartoum, where he lived until forced exile in 2012. Aziz Isa Elkoun is an Uyghur author, poet, and academic, and is currently working as a researcher at the School of Oriental and African Studies. He has authored 3 books, numerous poems, essays, and research articles in both Uyghur and English. Then we have Mona Karim, who's a Bidoon writer and translator. She's our guest from the US, and we're very lucky to have her. She's the author of 4 collections in Arabic and a collection of bilingual poems, I Will Not Fold These Maps, translated by Sara El-Kamel and published by the Poetry Translation Center. Then Garib Iskandar, who is a poet and translator living in London, who has published several books, including Gilgamesh's Snake and Other Poems, a bilingual collection which won the Arkansas University's Arabic Translation Award for 2015 and was published by Syracuse University Press, New York, 2016. And finally, I'll read a few poems of Modern Poetry and Translation's very talented poet in residence, Batul Abu Akleen. She's a poet and translator from Gaza. She started writing at the age of 10, and at the age of 15, she won the Barjeel Poetry Prize for her poem, It Wasn't Me Who Stole the Cloud. Her first collection will be published in the UK next year. Some of her poems were published in MPT's summer issue of 2023. I'll read 2 or 3 of her poems that she wrote in Arabic and co-translated into English with Christina Whitty. On to Aisha.
Hi, Janani, and thanks everyone for being here this evening. I'm really glad to join in with all these voices. I was going to read from the Arab Apocalypse by the Lebanese American writer and artist Etal Adnan, but I couldn't pick a part, but I just wanted to show on the screen a page from it, which hopefully you can see. I just found the way the images have worked with the words very inspiring, and I guess draws attention to the things that words can and can't do. But actually, I'm going to read now from a section of The Spring Flower's Own, also by Etal Adnan. There was a great slaughter of rocks, of spring leaves, of creeks. The stars showed fully. The last king of the mountain gave battle and got killed. We lay on the grass, covered dried blood with our bodies. Green blades swayed between our teeth. We went out to sea. A bank of whales was heading south. A young man among us, a hero, tried to straddle one of the sea creatures. His body emerged as a muddy pool, as mud. We waved goodbye to his remnants, happy not to have to bury him in the early hours of the day. We got drunk in a bar room. The small town of Fairfax had just gone to bed. Cherry trees were bending under the weight of their flowers. They were involved in a ceremonial dance to which no one had ever been invited. I know flowers to be funeral companions. They make poisons and venoms and eat abandoned stone walls. I know flowers shine stronger than the sun. Their eclipse means the end of times. But I love flowers for their treachery. Their fragile bodies grace my imagination's avenues. Without their presence, my mind would be an unmarked grave. We met a great storm at sea, looked back at the rocking cliffs. The sand was going under. Black birds were leaving. The storm ate friends and foes alike. Water turned into salt for my wounds. Flowers end in frozen patterns. Artificial gardens cover the floors. We get up close to midnight, search with powerful lights, the tiniest shrubs on the meadows. A stream, desperately, is running to the ocean. And then I'm just going to read a small passage taken from a poem by Mira Matar, a Palestinian poet based in the UK, and the poem's called 10th of November, 2023. That order you call your own, that takes each pulse of ocean and makes of it money, that takes each flicker of moon and makes of it money, that takes each hounding, unmanned gun moored on the watchman's fence, that rotates its nothing head, sees one of us and shoots. I'll take each time you called us animals and fill each lion's mouth on earth and each cow's separate stomach and each fly's million eyes and each slug's glowing sex and each fox's slowly blinking amber eye at dusk, and fill them with the names of the dead and fill them with the names of the living. And every word in every language will sing their names and the places their names grew out of, and the aching details of their bedroom dressing tables, and the exact shade of grey the walls turn as night falls, and every single texture of every small, smooth and wrinkled brow, and we animals, and we sunbeams, and we fine pointed bullets, and we surgeons cleansing wounds with corner shop vinegar, and we babies born to no one, born to nothing, will take our revenge on language. Thank you.
شكرا جزيلا لإتاحة الفرصة للمشاركة. أنا الصادق الرضي، شاعر وصحفي من السودان. آه، حأقرأ قصتين، واحدة فيهم من الكتاب الأخير منشور ومترجم من مركز ترجمة الشعر، وأخرى برضو مترجمة من نفس المترجمين، الشاعر الأمريكي ديفيد شوك والشاعر العراقي بريار. فحأقرأ القصتين ديل، وشكرا جزيلا للمشاركة والدعوة للمشاركة في هذه الفعالية المهمة. الحرب انتهت يوم الأربعاء. يوم الاثنين كانت السماء صافية. الأرض لم تعد لعبة في يد من يصبغونها بدم ابن آدم. تذكرت وقع أقدامها قرب بابي قبل 50 قرنا من الرياحين والشوق دافق. هل تذكرت طيف العناق؟ كانت الشجرة، كانت البئر، كان حبل مدلى على حافة السر، كانت البذرة حبلى والحلة درويشها عاريا في لباس الحنين. رائحة الشواء البشري. العالم ليس بيتا كبيرا بلطف الإنسانية المفترض، ليس قرية صغيرة بفضل التكنولوجيا ووحشية رأس المال. العالم هو العالم منذ أزل بعيد، عالم حي ومفترض بالضرورة، مسكن لأساطير شخصية تكنز الصورة والمثال، تكنسه الحاجة للمثال والصورة، الحاجة للحيلة والمال، الحاجة الدائمة لرائحة الشواء البشري. وجوه تشيخ 100 سنة في ثانية واحدة في عالم أصله مستشفى أمراض نفسية وعقلية. سجن الطفولة فيه وصم، سجن الطفولة فيه وصمة.
It looks like we might have lost internet connection here, so I think I'm going to move over to the next poet. We'll give it just one more second here. Yeah, I think Aziz, if you want to take over. Sorry, it looks like we've lost him.
Okay. Okay, thank you for inviting me to this event. I am going to read the 2 poems. The first one is one of my own poem from Uyghur Poems Anthology, published by the UK Everyman's Library last year. It's Uyghur Poems. Title of the poem is Roses. Dedicated to my mother and to all innocent Uyghurs who have been arrested and detained in China's 20th century concentration camps since 2017. The monster has left countless scars. It has pierced me with needles, but still I call for justice for those who have suffered more. But my spirit still fighting, my hope still alive. Each time I find new courage, it brings the joy of a smile. Although it's autumn, the leaves in my garden are still green. The first rose I planted 3 years ago to mark the destruction of my father's grave. The second rose I planted on Mother's Day last year. The third rose I planted for the unknown Uyghurs who survived inside camps. My roses are blossoming with hope, singing a song of freedom. Without waiting for the spring, they remind us how beautiful it is to be alive, to live in peace in our beautiful world. Now I'm going to read second poem. It's written by Ablat Abdurrashid Barqi and translated by me. Let me first briefly introduce who's the poet Ablat Abdurrashid Barqi. He is a distinguished Uyghur poet, academic, and associate professor at Xinjiang Institute of Education in China. In 2013, he came to Israel to pursue postdoctoral research at the University of Haifa. In early 2016, he returned his home to Urumqi, East Turkestan, or Xinjiang, or China. Upon his arrival, he was arrested and later sentenced to 13 years in prison. Since then, there's no information about his health and whereabouts. The Song of the Meal. On the third Intifada. On one side, my Jewish friend, on the other side, an Arab. Each looks into my eyes as if to ask, which side are you on? And I answer, I am on the side of blood that flows. I am on the side of tears that fall. I am a person who would not dare to harm an ant. Yet I see people spill each other's blood. A waking dream I cannot shake, a nightmare with open eyes. When the Jewish were in camps, when they were slaughtered, I was with them. My heart followed them, entering the gas chambers with them. When Arabs were driven from their homes, the olive trees and the date plums they nurtured burned into flames in the fires of war. I flamed alongside them. When an innocent child of war felt his tender chest torn by a bullet, in that moment, my heart was pierced too. Children of the same father, each aiming at the other. The first blow always pierces my heart. Tell me, which side are you on? What's history's answer? One's death is genocide, the other's loss and sin. I stand with those killed. Blood flows in many other places, and in this place I live, where no camera ever reaches, or even glances their way to remember their pain, a death sentence for the witness. My Jewish and Arab friends, I no longer know where I stand. My sense for justice for my home sinks beneath the blood that flows. My sense of judgment stands with those worn by endless tears. Even if wounded 1,000 times, they are unheard by the world. October the 15th, 2015, Haifa. Thank you.
Mona, feel free to unmute and start reading whenever you're ready. Mona, can you still hear me? Okay, I think I'm going to go over to the next poet. It looks like you're maybe having trouble with the speaker. Garib, you can start reading whenever you're ready.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. I'll read a poem called Song, Ughniya, in Arabic. I'll read first the original and then the English translation. It's from my book Gilgamesh Snake and other poem. أغنية. غنى كل شيء، غنى الأرصفة النائمة والفجر الغريب، غنى روحه وجسده، حبيبته وأمه، غنى الملائكة والشياطين، غنى الربيع، الأسهار التي تنمو من بعد ليل طويل، غنى الشوارع، لم يغني الجدران، غنى وغنى وغنى، غنى بعينيه وبيديه وبقلبه، لم يغني بفمه. كان صمته أبلغ أغنية، كانت حياته رقصة موت وأيامه فراغا هامسا. Song. He sang the sum of things, the drowsing pavement, the unfamiliar dawn. He sang his soul and body, his lover and his mother. He sang angels, he sang devils, he sang sibling times, the flowers that open themselves after a long night. He sang the streets, but he wouldn't sing the hindering walls. He sang and he sang and sang. He sang with his eyes and with his hands. He sang with his heart, but his mouth did no singing. The richest of all his songs was silence. His life was death's little dance, and his days all emptiness, a whispering void. Thank you.
Mona, you still need to unmute.
Hi. Yeah, sorry about that. Thank you to the organizers and to those who are watching us. Sometimes, words feel useless, but I'm gonna read poems by Iraqi poet Ra'ad Abdul Qadir in my translation. Two poems really. هياكل الطيور. مهزومون قلت لك، سنضع النهاية لكل شيء، سيتذوقون طعم الهزيمة، سيشربون كأسها قطرة قطرة. قلت لك سيهزمون في النهاية، وسنضع حدا لكل شيء، لكل شيء. سيغلقون علينا المنافذ، سينصبون لنا الفخاخ، سيستدرجوننا إلى الشباك، سنسقط فيها، سيرفعون عنا الأغصان والأوراق، ويلتقطوننا واحدا واحدا، وسيحملوننا في الأقفاص مخدرين من الألم دون مقاومة ودون ما أي صرخة، وسينقلوننا إلى المتاحف. هياكلنا العظمية ستعرض في المتاحف، سيتركوننا هناك في الظلمة والبرد، منسيين فارغين من الحب والكره والخوف والحزن والأمل، صامتين لا نعني أحدا، لا تلقى علينا الشباك، لا نستدرج إلى الفخاخ، لا يأبه أحد بنا ولا يلقي علينا حتى نظرة ازدراء. هياكل فارغة بلا أجنحة أو غناء. آخرون سيأتون لينقذوا المدينة، متسللين بأسلحتهم إلى داخل المتاحف، وسيطلقون النار على الأعداء من خلف هياكلنا، سننتصر. ألم أقل لك إنهم مهزومون في النهاية، مهزومون. Bird skeletons. Defeated, I told you. We will put an end to everything. They will taste defeat. They will drink from its cup drop by drop. I told you they will be defeated at the end, and we will put an end to it all. They will shut the exits before us. They will set the traps for us. They will lure us into the nets. We will fall for it. They will lift the leaves and branches, plucking us one by one. They will carry us in cages, numbed with pain, without resistance or screaming. They will move us into the museums, our skeletons exhibited. They will leave us there in the cold and dark, forgotten, empty of love or hate, of fear, sadness, of hope, silent, of no concern to anyone. Nobody will cast the nets on us. Nobody will lure us into traps. Nobody will care about us or look at us with contempt. Empty skeletons without wings or songs. Others will come in and save the city, sneaking into the museums with their guns, standing behind our skeletons. They will shoot at the enemy and we will win. We will win. Didn't I tell you? They will be defeated in the end. Defeated. Second poem, again by Ra'ad Abdul Qadir, an Iraqi poet, in my translation. صلاة للأرواح الجسورة. يصلون، حتما سيصلون. عند نهاية الشوط ننتظرهم بالورود. سنستقبلهم بالتصفيق. سنعانقهم بحرارة. سيصلون متعبين منهكين. قد ينهارون. قد نسمع دوي سقوطهم واصطكاك ركبهم. قد تتلاشى أشكالهم وتتبخر. قد يصبحون ماء. قد ننصب لهم الهياكل. قد ندخل في الهياكل. نصلي من أجلهم، من أجل أرواحهم الجسورة القوية المقتحمة إلى نهاية الشوط، إلى نهاية الشوط في عناق حميم. إنهم ينتظرون صافرة البداية. A prayer for the bold souls. They arrive. Certainly they will arrive at the end of the round. We will receive them with flowers. We will wait for them clapping. We will hug them tightly. They will arrive, tired and exhausted. They may fall down. We may hear their fall in the distance, the sound of their knees creaking. Their shapes may disappear, evaporate. They may turn into water. And we may set up altars for them. And we may enter the altars and pray for them, for their bold souls, strong and storming, until the end of the round, the end of the round. In an intimate embrace, they wait for the whistle. Thank you.
Thank you, Mona. I will now read two poems by Batula Bouakline, who is in Gaza right now. I want to say we're so very proud to have her as our poet and translator in residence. The Ice Cream Van. The ice cream man cries, "Corpses for sale." All around the streets, no grave buys them. The corpses are melting. He cries again, "Corpses for sale." No answer. The dogs buy them at bargain prices. They cry out for more. The ice cream man has promised he'll soon refill the van and give them new corpses, as frosty fresh as the city. Blazing sun. I'm burning my fingers. They are melting one after the other, slowly, as war passes slowly. Thumb to bake bread, fresh like martyrs' bodies. Forefinger I put on the little girl's mouth. It warms her heart, so the dread will go away and calm will ripen. Middle finger I raise between the eyes of the bomb that hasn't yet reached me. Ring finger I lend to the woman who lost her hand and her husband. Little finger will make peace with all the food I hated to eat. and another 5 fingers to move the blazing sun aside. War doesn't stop. I run out of fingers. My hands get shorter. Fingers grow. My hands melt. Fingers grow. My chest melts. My heart, all of me melts. Nothing remains but the fire flowing from between death's fingers. Fire may choke death, but I am the one who's choked to death. Thank you, everyone.
Tiana,